Hello, welcome to a special episode of the Blue Mountain Mix podcast. I'm Mary Lynn, and today we're talking fall plans. So, I've been having a little bit of anxiety, maybe a little bit of FOMO, I'm not sure. I watch a lot of knitting podcasts, and this is just kind of the time of the year that everybody's coming out with their fall plans, and I kind of realized, today's September 1st, so we're going into the long weekend here in the US. I've got Monday off for Labor Day, and kind of the unofficial end of summer is Labor Day weekend. Even though it's going to be 95 degrees here next week. It doesn't feel very fall. It feels very fall-esque today. Last night it was in the 50s Fahrenheit. Very nice, not humid. But next week's going to be right back up there temperature-wise. So it's very unofficial. I forgot to cut on my ring light. Yeah. Which doesn't really make a whole lot of difference when it's just me talking, but I do find it makes a difference if I have any yarn or anything else to show. So anyways, so I was getting a little bit concerned. I have all these ideas in my head, and I have, a lot of yarn and stuff that I want to make, but do I really know what I'm planning to make and when? And so I pulled up my queue on Ravelry, and I had nothing in it. Because in my head, I'm like, oh, I've been saving stuff. I'm prepared. And it's so funny because it's like an arbitrary thing. It doesn't actually matter, what you do and when you do it. It's for you to enjoy your craft and do things at your own pace and stuff like that. But yeah, it brought a lot of anxiety out. So I decided I would actually sit down, figure out what I'm doing, and this was a great excuse to kind of make myself do that. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's see. My first thing that I have on my list is the Dala Sweater, and that is, if you see me looking over to the side, I actually took notes. That's by Elenor Mortenson. So I have yarn for that, technically. I bought this and this. These are both Drops Flora from Wool Warehouse a couple weeks ago. I put in a pretty big order. I've used up about 3 different colors of the Flora, and I've just about used up the blue-green in another project I'm working on. But I knew I wanted 2 sweaters in the grayscale, and I don't know which one's which. One of these will be an Alpine Bloom by Caitlin Hunter that I'm not counting as a fall sweater because it's very springy, I think. I'm still going to be making it sooner than later, but not very fall-y. So one will be an Alpine Bloom, and the other will be the Dala. And I was originally leaning Dala and Alpine because the lighter gray seems a little bit more springy to me. But I just don't know because both of those patterns are knit with one main color and one contrast color. They have a little bit of yoke color work, and then the rest of it's just knit straight in your main color. So I was thinking the darker for the Dala because it's a long sleeve or a 3/4 length sleeve. I'm not sure which direction I'll go with that yet, but I was thinking to go darker for the fall and winter months, but I've been having a hard time picking a contrast color for this. I had I'm trying to use my hand spun for my contrast colors in my any of the sweaters that I'm making that call for one ball of yarn. Mainly because I keep spinning and spinning and spinning, and I have all of these one-off braids of a certain color, and it's either make socks out of all of them or hats, and I don't really want to do that. So I think it'd be a great way to use up some of my hand spun. So I have this reddish orange that I thought might go well with this, but I don't really love it. And then today I finished applying this bad boy. Needs to be washed, and also obviously taken off of the focus, the nitty nutty, but very bright. This is one of my dye experiments that I've been doing lately. It's a Perindale. It's a little more rustic than the merino and the Polworth and things like that I've been spinning lately. So this was definitely fun, different. My dyeing was very interesting. I didn't dilute the solution that I made at all, so it's very vibrant. And when I had it in the braid, the pink was blinding. So I did a fractal spin to tone down that pink, and even still in some places it's whew. But I think that they look pretty darn good together. I think I like the dark better than I like the, well, I don't know, I like them both. Now I need opinions. And then should I make this an alpine bloom or should I make it the Dala? I just don't know. I think in my mind I wanted the Dala to be, I think I wanted a darker red contrast color because, I don't know, it's like a horse pattern, but it feels like a kind of a Celtic type. It might not actually be, but you know, it feels that way to me. Like a Celtic type horse. And then I was like, ooh, what if it's like that horse that drags you down into the water and drowns you? Is it a Selkie? I think it's a Selkie. Could be off, way off, but it's definitely in the lore. Like, people would get on this horse and be like, just kidding, you're not going home, and then it would kill them. I kind of like that thought of like spooky horse in my knitting, so I wanted something just a little darker. Yeah, so I don't know. That is number 1. Still not sure how I'm going to go about that. Number 2 on my list is the Talvinen by Caitlin Hunter. That has been on my list for a year and a half, 2 years now. I love that sweater. I think I'll have to do some modifications. So the sleeves, the way that the pattern is written, I think are pretty wide. And I'm not a wide sleeve person, like, at all. I don't know. I might just knit it straight. I don't know. I'm going to look up some pictures while I'm talking about this because I don't want to lie. Yeah, her sleeves are pretty wide. And like in the sample pictures by Caitlin Hunter, she's wearing a full long sleeve shirt underneath of it, and there's still extra room around that cuff. And I don't think I'm going to like that. So I'll probably have to do some math, or there's a motif around the wrist, so I'll either have to do the math to remove a repeat with decreases or leave off that motif altogether and just decrease down into a regular cuff. But I do like that motif, so I think I'm going to try to do the math and figure all that out. I do also have yarn for this, so see, I have planned ahead a little bit, but I'm going for a green for my main color. This is Palette. This whole sweater will be Palette. I get this from crochet.com. I'll do my usual disclaimer. If you purchase yarn from Knit Picks, it's the same yarn that's sold at crochet.com, but crochet.com has a lower free shipping threshold, at least in the US. I don't know why they do that. I think it's kind of shady, but still, I order from crochet.com. So yeah, got green for the main body. Then this kind of taupey color for the birds. And I didn't bring it over here. And then just like a smidge of like goldenrod yellow for the little flower patterns that are on there. So ta-da. This is going to be a long knit because it's fingering weight. Watch me be lying and it's not actually a fingering weight sweater. Wouldn't that be funny? No. Oh yeah. It's a fingering weight sweater. It's an oversized sweater. It's a long sweater. And it's knit on size 3 needles with fingering weight yarn. So that's going to be like a big commitment. There's color work at the yoke, there's color work on both sleeves, and there's color work at the bottom. And it is a stunning sweater. It's just going, sorry my chair creaks. It's just going to be definitely a commitment of brain space, and my needles will be tied up for a long time. So I'm not sure. I should probably start that. Sooner than later because it's going to take so long. Right now my 3s are being used on my other Flora project, so maybe as soon as I finish that, I'll cast this sucker on. That would be a good idea. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm planning to knit size 3. I need to really look at it, and because it is oversized, I don't like my stuff to be too oversized. I find with my body type that it doesn't, like, I have a larger bust than I do my waist, like pretty significantly. So I find if it's oversized, it usually fits fairly well in the bust, and then it just hangs like a giant balloon off the rest of me, and I don't love that feel. It does not make me feel confident, so we'll see. I might go down to a 2, but I'll have to do some measurements and see. But that is my second wish list fall knitting plan. Okay, so the third, I have never knit anything by this lady. I have had my eye on this pattern forever. She had a sale. I finally bought it. I'm very excited. It's the Cosmo Cardigan by Simone Ryan. That's Rust Knitwear, I believe. I think it's either Rust Knit or Rust Knitwear. So she goes by on like Instagram and stuff. So I am so excited for this. I know exactly what I want to knit it out of. She's had 2 pattern updates in the last like 2 months, and I haven't actually like looked at the pattern, but the last update said something about like she had adjusted the charts or something for, I like it. I like the pattern because it has a lot of textural interest at the top and then a very flattering like shaping, and I think it's going to look good with my body type. I think it's going to be interesting to knit. It won't just be like a plain old cardigan you see on everybody when it's finished. But she said that she updated the pattern and did something with the charts, and there are now 6 pages of charts. And like I said, I haven't looked at it, so I don't really know what that entails, but I saw that email and I was like, do I want to start this? I just don't know. I don't know. It's going to be fine. But I am already intimidated without having actually read the pattern. Maybe I should look into that. So for this, I also have some of the fiber yarn. So I've put a spending limit on myself until Rhinebeck. So it's September 1st. That puts Rhinebeck, what, like 6-7 weeks away? I can wait. I have plenty of yarn. I don't know if you can see behind me. This is my spinning wheel. But this is a 9 cube container. Ugh. It is completely full, like shoving yarn down in there, completely overflowing full of yarn. Plus there's yarn cleverly hidden behind that chair. There's yarn in a closet right there, and there's more yarn in the guest room. Like the whole Flora order I just ordered, or whatever, received a couple weeks ago, will not fit anywhere. So I had to stow it in the guest room. Oops. So I need to knit down my stash. This is getting like completely out of hand. And I do have plans for most of the things that I have purchased. I just need to execute those plans. So anyways, long story short, I put myself on a spending hiatus until Rhinebeck. I'm planning to buy a bunch of fiber. I finally got the notification that my matchless will be here on Tuesday. I'm so excited. I've been waiting since June 28th is when I put that order in. And it will be here on September 4th. So, very excited. But then, I get this email. I'm so excited. My wheel's coming in. I was like, oh no. I just finished that spin and I'm like running out of fiber. And if I don't buy any fiber between now and Rhinebeck, what am I going to spin? So, I was pulling out the fiber for the yarn I want to spin for this Cosmo cardigan. And then I went, oh yeah, I have plenty of fiber. Some days. And the sad part is it's not like I forgot that I had this. I just didn't really account for it in my mind. So I'm so excited to spin this stuff on my new wheel. Yeah. But I've been holding on to this giant thing of merino that I got at the MarylinnS Sheep and Wool Festival. All of this was MarylinnS Sheep and Wool Festival. I don't think I've spun anything I bought there at all yet. But I've been holding on to this because I bought it with this cardigan in mind. That's how long I've been thinking about this. That was May. And I think I've got a pound, maybe a little bit more than a pound of fiber here. Probably like 1.25 pounds. And my intention is to use this, spinning all of this yarn on my new wheel, and it'll be, I think, a good practice. I am a little concerned that it's going to change kind of significantly between the first skein that I finish and the last skein that I spin, because I will be getting used to the wheel. But because this cardigan has texture in the top, I think if I use my first spin in the top, that texture should help hide any oopsies that I might make. So I'm planning to use this, and I'm going to get some I think Drops Alpaca Silk probably in the rust color. If not, maybe some Knitting for Olive. Yeah, No, this happened last time. What is the name of this yarn? Mohair. Why? I can't think of mohair. I do not know. I meant silk mohair from Drops or the silk mohair from Knitting for Olive. This happened to me last time I recorded. It just was like, boop, gone forever. I don't know. Anyways, paired this with some silk mohair. I think it's going to be gorgeous. And hopefully, the mohair and the textured pattern should hide any flaws. But this is going to be a seriously long-term project because I will have to spin all of the yarn for that project. But on the bright side, spin a skein, finish it, start knitting with it, spin another. I spin almost every day. I knit every day and I spin almost every day. So we shall see. But that is definitely going to be if it's done by Christmas, I'll be very pleased with myself kind of situation. Okay, so I think, one more thing that I actually have yarn for is the Big Cozy Cardi by Andrea Mowry, Dry Renee Knits. I started this pattern twice. I have ripped it out twice. I hope that this is not going to be a repeat of the Bellicore that I have tried to make many times and just keep hating. I think the problem with this pattern is the yarn that I was trying to use. So I bought a bunch of this. It's more palette from Knit Picks, and I think that because it's such a high contrast marl on top of a textured pattern, it does not bring me joy. So I got like halfway through. Basically what you're doing is knitting flat for a really long time, and then you construct the cardigan itself out of this flat piece, and then you add your cuffs and the shawl collar. So I got like halfway through the flat part on size 4 needles, and then I said, why am I doing this? I don't like it. It looks stupid. Ripped it out, held it double, got probably a third of the way through on size 6 needles, said, I still hate it, ripped it out. And yeah, so I haven't finished ripping out the second time. It's literally sitting beside my chair in the living room, and one day I'll get to it. I just had no motivation because I don't know what else I'm going to use this for. I have like 8 balls of this. Not that I'm going to get rid of it, but it's 100% wool. I don't know. We'll see. So anyways, I think I need to just get a solid color and just knit it in the solid color. Oof. I do have the fluffy bits. This is something I've had stashed for over 2 years. I'd like to get rid of it. I got it from my local yarn store on clearance one day. It's called El Cielo. It's 89% superfine alpaca and 11% nylon. I just ripped the ball band. Whoops. Anyways, so this will be the shawl collar, and if not, I need to hang on to this ball band because I need to figure out yardage, because if I don't use this, I have a ton of actual Drops alpaca silk in the same color that I'll be using. So this kind of dictates what color the cardigan itself will be, because I do definitely want to use up this gray. It looks kind of like a dead animal. Like when I'm holding it. That sounds really bad. Yeah. I saw a picture on Instagram the other day, and a girl had taken her rabbit, her very cute rabbit, and wrapped a ball band around it, and I was not paying very close attention, and at first I was like, ooh, that's some fuzzy yarn. Oh, it has ears. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, so I think I just need to get a plain yarn. I think I will love it. I really want that finished object, because all I can think about is working from home in the winter and wearing my leggings and like, a little t-shirt and this giant comfy cardigan over top of it, cozy cardigan, whatever, and a cup of coffee and maybe some snow this year because we didn't get any last year. It just really gives me the vibes, and I want those vibes. So, going to do it. The longer that this podcast goes, the more I realize this is a very ambitious list, because there's no way I'm getting this all done in the fall. But I guess too, I don't really, when I say I have fall knits, right, it's the inspiration of cooler nights, crunchy leaves, delicious cider, mulled wine. that's the inspiration for these things, the beautiful colors, but they're, you can wear these things all the way through the winter. So I have a spring and summer. My year's broken up into 6 months: spring and summer, fall and winter. And that's how I break up my knitting mojo, I guess, So as long as this is done by next March, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't know. Okay, so the rest of the stuff, or the rest of the sweaters on this list, I do not have yarn for. I don't really have any, like, firm plans for color scheme necessarily. The next one that I really want to knit and has also been on my list for a while is and I'm gonna butcher this, Koivua? I don't know. It's the Feathers by Caitlin Hunter. I love this pattern. I think it's so gorgeous. It just has like such a vibe to it, and I do think I want to keep the color scheme that she has in her sample, which is the white and the gray. I guess it's gray. I'm gonna look at the pictures of this because I just love it. So this is another one by Caitlin Hunter that has questionable sleeves. So I was kind of like flipping through some project pictures and stuff, and it's the way that it's done. There's color work to like here, and then you've got texture here, and then I think some more color work at the wrist. The texture blows out. It makes this kind of balloon sleeve type look, and then it comes together in that cuff. And I just don't know. I don't know what to think about it, because I've seen a lot of people that have just completely omitted the texture so it doesn't get any bigger. I've seen some people that knit it to pattern and just have the bigger sleeves. I do not like large sleeves for myself. So there's one that I found that I'm looking at now. I'll hopefully remember to put this up on the screen. I need to find who knit this, because this is all the pictures on like the actual pattern page, but the way that this person knit it, it doesn't have the blowout on the sleeves, but she kept the texture. So I don't know, maybe she went down a needle size, or don't know. Might just be her yarn choice too, which kind of makes it tough. It's gonna be interesting. This is gonna be a very interesting knit because of the different textures plus the color work. Like, I already know, like right now I'm wearing another Caitlin Hunter, and I know that my color work pulls in a little bit. So like here, I find myself doing this all day long, trying to like make it, lay straight like it's supposed to, but it does naturally pull in some more, which is not bad because it's like right at my waist or whatever, but I now know I need to go up at least one needle size when I'm doing any kind of color work next to like a stockinette or something, because you can definitely tell. So that is on my list. No clue what kind of yarn I'm using. No ideas. But I think it's another... Oh, it's a worsted weight. Woo! I keep picking fingering weight stuff. It's just taking forever. Whew. Speaking of fingering weight stuff, is going to take forever. The next and last sweater on my wish list, my knit list, is the Traveler by Andrea Mowry. It is her... Oh, sorry. Shaking the whole table. It's her hoodie pattern that she put out not too long ago, a couple months ago. This is one of those things that, like, it came out. She's wearing it. She looks super cute in it. I'm like, I'm not going to... I don't like the horizontal ribbing texture. It's just not for me. Ugh. Didn't buy it when it first came out. Kept seeing it around, kept thinking about it. And so when she had her birthday sale, I went ahead and picked it up, and now I'm like, well, now I have to have it because I really, really want it. So that is a fingering weight pattern. It is probably going to take a long time. I think it's a seamed pattern. So it'll be a lot of knitting and purling because there's a lot of, like I said, ribbed texture on it. So that one will be a mindless knit, but I think it will still be a time-consuming knit. But I don't have any knitted hoodies, and I would really like to have one. I think, like, I just watched her podcast today, and she said she's been using it to camp all the time, and I think that's a great idea. Like, just to throw on and go kind of thing, which kind of makes me feel like I don't want to put any like precious yarn into it, you know, because I don't want to be worried that I'm just going to tear it up or go somewhere where it's going to get like wood smoke smell in it, or, you know, if I'm eating outside somewhere and I spill on it, I don't want it to be like the end of the world. Like, this is Noro yarn, which was like a big expenditure for me because I don't normally buy their stuff, and it was, you know, birthday gift to myself. And I had to go feed my parents' barn animals today. I went right after work, so I took a bunch of paper towels and lined the feed bins because there's just dust in there. It's like gross. Because, you know, heaven forbid I go home, change my clothes, and then go back out. So I just had it all lined with like paper towels as I'm leaning in and like feeding the donkeys and stuff. So I would like something that I can be like, oh, it's dusty, and just kind of dust it off and keep going and not have to worry about it. So I think that will make a big difference. I don't usually knit with acrylic yarns or like acrylic blends, but I think this will be an exception to that rule. In fact, I should probably get some Nord. Drops Nord would be great for that. And it's super, super soft. Thoughts? Alright, yeah, that's the last of the sweaters. I do have 2 accessories that I also want to knit, because why not, right? You know? The first one is the Vertices Unite Shawl by Stephen West, and I will be casting that on very, very soon. I think right now I have 2 sets. It takes a size 4. Almost all of his patterns are a size 4 needle. Almost everything that I knit is a size 4 needle. So I need to free up. I'd like to finish with the shawl I'm working on now, and then I'll cast that one on. But I already have all my stuff picked out. It has been sitting in front of me because it's a 5-color pattern. And I always worry that, you know, you sit down, you pick out colors, you look at it, you're like, I love it. And then you come back the next day after you started knitting, and you're like, I hate this. What was I thinking? So it's been sitting out for a week. I'm trying to use up scraps. I think it's going to be great. Here's what I want to use. Oh, what is this from? This is the leftovers of the Noro for the shirt I'm wearing now. Color number 1. Color number 2. This is Malabrigo. Ooh, I think it's just called Malabrigo sock. Can't tell you. What did I use this in? I used this in one of his cowl patterns. The year before last one with the shrimpies that everybody hates. It came out beautifully. Then I have a bunch of this left over from a sweater I knit for my sister-in-law. This is Drops Baby Merino. Some more Malabrigo sock. This is from my Schweik sweater by Caitlin Hunter that I made in the spring. And last is some handspun. So I think the darker color and the fade into that lighter will work out well with all of this because it has a little bit of green, a little bit of the yellow, the browns. So that purple will kind of just be like a contrast pop, I think. I'm going to try to hold these all up together, and I'm probably going to fail, so just bear with me. This is going to be so dumb. That actually worked out okay. I think it's going to look good. So I don't have very much of the green left over, which kind of dictates where it has to be in that pattern, which I haven't really looked at. And I'm a little concerned that whatever it's like, because each section has two contrasting colors per section. So I don't know what that would be paired with, but I don't necessarily want it next to this yellow. Like, I can't imagine a whole, it's not horrid, but I don't really want like a whole section in just these two. So we'll see. That is probably going to be, I'll probably cast on the Alpine Bloom, and then I'll cast that on plans. Yeah. And the last thing that I want to knit, I don't know where I found this pattern. I don't know how I saw it or like how it came across my radar, but it's called Acuco. Really butchering a lot of words today, and I'm really sorry. It's by Melanie Rice. It's an infinity cowl, and it is inspired by pottery. So she says, because I just thought this was so cool, it's inspired by the beautiful Acoma pottery. Each design, she has 3 designs in this series. Each design is named for one of the spelling variations of Acoma. the stranded color of her cowl, knitted in the round, yada yada. Oh, and she actually uses Knit Picks palette, which is for sure what I'm going to be using because one of those cubes that you can't see is completely full of just Knit Picks palette because I love it. I love it for shawls. I'm a little worried about it in a sweater because it's only a 2-ply, but we'll see. So I just think it's so beautiful. And I have all these colors and I have like just leftovers of it and I want it. So yeah, like I said, I don't know how I came across it. I don't know if it was Instagram or what, but one day it just popped up and she's got 3 projects on Ravelry and that's it. So if you're interested, go support her. I think it's a really cool pattern. All right, guys, I have talked. This is way longer than I thought it was going to be. Sorry. But those are my plans. I'm feeling pretty good about it. Probably won't finish it all. I say that. We'll see. Some of it is worsted weight. One of them was worsted weight. I think the rest, it's all fingering weight. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the next 6 months. And I hope that we actually have a cold winter this year because last winter it was crap. We got no snow at all. Ugh. Yeah, we had no snow. It was like 80 degrees in March. And then by the time June came around, it was in the 50s again. So that kind of ruined the whole beginning of summer. It's been like a mess. And now we haven't had rain in a month. We had like a brief shower the other day. And it was, woo, excitement. This weather is crazy, I'm telling y'all. But that's all I got. I would like some suggestions if you guys have any for cardigan patterns. I'm going to be making that one, but I would like to have another, just kind of like a throw-on plain type cardigan. I've purchased the pattern from Andrea Mowry for the Douglas Cardi, and that's kind of the like slouchy, relaxed style that I like. But I've also been looking at the Champagne Cardigan by Petite Knit, and I've not really knit many of her patterns before, so if anybody has any thoughts or comments about which one's better over the other, I would be very interested to know. I know that a lot of Petite Knit patterns are like super duper popular, and that is one of her more popular ones, so if you've made it and you love it, let me know. And we'll see if I can squeeze that in too, why not? Thanks for stopping by, guys. If you're in the US and you're getting ready for a nice Labor Day weekend, have an awesome time. Enjoy the last bits of summer before we get into the sweet, sweet, spooky season. It's coming up. I'm excited. I'll see y'all very soon, but bye for now.